Hello, Happy New Year. It's Dr. Rhoda again. I want to wish you all a happy and successful 2020. The new year is often a time to reflect on where we are in life and where we want to be. It's the time many people make New Year's resolutions. Yet, how many of you over the years have made resolutions that never end up being kept? Probably, like most people, you have done this too. And while it's easy to make resolutions, it's not easy to make those resolutions a reality. 2020 is not only a new year, it's a new decade, which can cause you to think about where you are in your life, where you've been, and where do you want to be at this same time next year. Would you like to do something different this year so that you make lasting positive change? Studies have shown that successful people are those who go beyond just making New Year's resolutions. They make goals. And the big key to goal setting are two very important steps. Number one, they need to be written down. And number two, they need to have a plan of action with steps on how you will achieve them, dates upon which they're going to be accomplished, so that you can really make them a reality. Now, if you Google goal planning, you're going to find many different ways to set up a goal plan. And while many of them are great, if you're new to this, I really recommend a simple approach because I believe when you're starting new behaviors, it's really best to make them simple so that you actually do them and accomplish what you're setting out to do. Now, in time, you can always create more advanced goal setting. But if this is your first time, let's start simple. So I want you to think about starting with some areas in your life where you'd like to make some changes. And maybe picking two or three simple ones, which might be things like your personal goals, your business or career goals, or your relationship goals. That's a good place to start. And then write down 2 to 3 goals for each of these categories. Now, next, you want to think about the necessary steps it's going to take to reach this goal. Now, if it's a simple goal, it might be one you can achieve in a few weeks. There might only be a few steps needed. But if this is a long-term goal, one that might take all year, for example, you may need to break these steps down into quarterly, monthly, and even weekly steps that are necessary to achieve this along the way. And then it's very good to set a date that you plan to accomplish the goal. But remember that this date is not set in stone. Your goal date can be adjusted if you discover that there have been some obstacles that you didn't really anticipate along the way. And speaking of obstacles, it can be very helpful to write down what you might anticipate are things that could slow you down on achieving your goals so that you can plan for those ahead of time. So let's take an easy example of how this works to show you what you need to think about. So imagine that your goal is to lose 10 pounds. So you decided that you want to take an easy, slow weight loss of 1 pound per week. And so therefore your goal is going to be about 2.5 months from now. So you decide on how you're going to go about losing that 1 pound a week. Now, maybe you're going to do calorie counting. Maybe you're going to join Weight Watchers. You're going to count carbs. You're going to do keto. However your plan is that you're going to lose your weight. And then you need to look at your possible obstacles that might get in the way of losing that weight in this sort of 10-week time frame. So if, let's say your birthday is in late January, you know that you're going to want to have a weekend to party and eat cake and drink. Okay, so that's a possible obstacle that may cause you that week not to lose your 1 pound. And maybe you also plan a big date night for Valentine's Day. And you're going to want to go splurge at your favorite restaurant. Well, that's another obstacle. So then maybe you need to make your realistic goal 12 weeks out instead of 10, or you're going to have to change the amount you want to lose each week, maybe from 1 pound to 1.5 pounds. And so that will be figured into how you're losing the weight. Do you need to add extra exercise? Do you need to count even calories differently so that you consume even fewer calories to lose 1.5 pounds rather than 1 pound? So you get the idea. You know, And for those who are thinking about starting an open relationship, I mean, I know a lot of you have been following me about this topic because that's what I talk about most of the time. This is a great time to start goal setting for this type of change in your relationship. And whether you've recently started it or you're just still thinking about it. And if you're one of those people who've been thinking about this for a long time, and yet you haven't really taken any of the steps yet, you're still kind of stuck in that stage of thinking about it. I want you to know that I'm going to have a new training later this month that's designed just for you. So I want you to stay tuned for more information of that coming very soon. And wherever you're at, here's to starting a new year and a new decade off to a great start. So take 30, 60 minutes in the next few days and write up your 2020 goals. Be sure to keep them in a place where you can see them frequently so you can monitor your progress. Thank you for joining me today. This is Dr. Rhoda, and I'm wishing you a happy and successful 2020. Bye for now.